Okay, here's our flywheel housing. There's a gasket here, so I don't need to worry about putting a silicone or anything like that on it because it's already got a gasket. Best way to get them to stick like that is use weather stripping adhesive. Basically glue the gasket to the housing, and that makes it a whole lot easier to get it lined up. There's a plug right here too. This could be a pressure relief valve here, so you need to make sure that's in. Also right here, there's a pipe plug here, and this bolt out of this cover are your timing pins for this engine. That's kind of important. That brings it up to top dead center number 1, and that's where most of our settings come from. So I put 2 guide studs in here to help me line it up. Notice there's a dowel here and here. It's something that's not a bad idea to check your run out when you get this all done. Have issues. Cummins is pretty notorious for that. You actually have to check that on the E55s and F14s every time. Okay, there it's installed, so we'll get a couple of bolts started. Quite a few bolts here. We'll get those all started and going in there. So part of the trick is figuring out which ones are the right length. Another way you can tell is looking at, it's got a painted head versus that's not, so that's probably not the right bolt there, if I had to guess. We'll get all these started, torque down, and do our rear main seal and put our flywheel on so that we can use our timing marks. Okay, we're going to torque our flywheel housing bolts. You want to use a crisscross pattern like this. So these torque to 90. That's going to come over here. Kind of work from the center out, kind of like we did on everything else. And then smaller ones, the 3/8 bolts, are going to torque to 30, or let's see, it's 35 plus or minus 7, so 42. Come through and do all the big ones. There's one more big one right here. We're just going to double check, make sure I didn't miss one. And we'll come back and torque the other ones. As soon as we get done with this, we'll install our rear main seal. Same thing with this. We're going to start in the middle and work our way up. It's not quite as critical as, say, a cylinder head, but still kind of important. These get torqued in the correct pattern. That one right. Make sure I got that one. So here, here, and there. Okay. Flywheel housing is installed. Now we could set up a dial indicator in here to check out of round. And basically, the dial indicator, you'd set it here. As you roll the engine around, you'd say 0 it right here. And then if you had, say, plus 10 thousandths down here, and let's say you had plus 5 thousandths here and minus 5 thousandths here, that means we need to shift it to 0 it. You want to get it really close to 0, or the best you can. It's kind of a procedure to do, but it's not horrible. It's a little bit time consuming.